What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined today by my dad, Sean, and today reactions to the classics, a list that I'm very much looking forward to.
I am too, man.
Ooh, top 10 Britpop songs, but not just any top 10 list. This is coming from a Yankees perspective,
It
Sean.
is, man. So everybody's got to keep that in mind. It's coming from our patron and longtime supporter and definite friend of the channel, Brian. Thank you, Brian, for bringing this to us. And thank all our patrons, man. You guys make this thing run. If you want to check out our Patreon link, support us in any way, check out the link below. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe. We got all the housekeeping out of the way, Trey. Let's dive into this a little bit.
So Brian noted, over the last 5 months, I put some serious time into learning about different Britpop and post-Britpop bands. I have to say, it was not wasted time. But as both a novice to the genre and a Yank living in Maine, I wanted to have some fun and take a stab at ranking a top 10. Some serious respect for my UK friends on the channel who have recommended so many great artists over that time. So please, when you throw me some shade, don't make it too dark.
I was just going to say that, man. He's really buttering you up, man. Give him a little bit of a break. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to get the honorable mentions out of the way right away. Oasis, Up in the Sky, Star Sailor, Good Souls, Gene, Olympian, Supergrass, Time, that's a great tune, Keen, Everybody's Changing, The Verb, Lucky Man, and the great Paul Weller's Changing Man. We got a ton of jam stuff up on here. Trey, we haven't been doing much together because we're both really busy, so we do separate stuff. But one of the fun games we've been playing on my own lately is how many plugs can I get in per song that we got up on. We got almost 1,000 videos up on the channel, guys. So usually a lot of things interconnect. But all that to say, let's jump into this thing. Remember, the audio will not be up here if it's the first time. We'll have a link below. Click on that if you want to follow on with this. If you're in the UK and you know all this stuff and you just want to see what these rookies think of it, just hang around and you will see.
Well, let's get her started with Pulp. You started off on a big note here. But going with Pulp. Babies from the His and Her record from 1994. Brian has a write-up on most of these, and he said, what I feel is largely the most innocently disturbing track I have selected. Only Pulp can take voyeurism and turn it into a catchy little pop tune. The two girls used in the video for the song were actual sisters from the group Saint Edwyn. Even my wife on first listen picked up on the subject matter, simply saying, what a perv.
Wow, well now I get to explain it, don't I? Features a guitar riff that drummer Nick Banks had played for Pulp frontman Jarvis Cocker. Though poppier and lighter than much of the band's earlier material, the band was pleased with the song. It's released as a single. First released as a single for Gift Records way back in '92, though it failed to chart. It was included on the band's next album, His and Hers, and was later remixed for the Sisters EP in '94. Cocker summed up the song as, quote, a fairly poppy song with slightly iffy subject matter. He explained of the song's meaning, babies is just a thing you get up to when you were 14 and certain things are still taboo and you get into situations because of curiosity. You know what, Trey? I'll let you read that next part.
Yeah, so Babies tells the story of a boy who was so enamored with listening to his female friend's sister having sex that he begins to hide in the sister's wardrobe to spy on her. When the sister catches the boy in her wardrobe, they begin to have sex before being caught by the distraught female friend who the boy is really in love with, to whom the boy says, I know you won't believe it's true. I only went with her because she looks like you. This is all coming back to me. I believe we've actually reacted to this on a previous list because I remember it's hard to forget a subject matter like this.
I don't know if I have or not, because I just know from researching it, I was like, oh my goodness. And in 2005, Freaky Trigger placed it at 84 on their list of the top 100 songs of all time. Hey, we got a top 100 albums of all time up on the channel. That might be better than whatever Freaky Trigger had to say. All right, well, the lyrics up as always. Babies, Pulp.
Heard it once, but I didn't remember it. And going in, man, you kind of mentioned it, Dad. I think Jarvis's voice just fits this tune perfect.
It does, and it's a lot of just kind of spoken word and almost with a, I want to say an arrogance, but a confidence just kind of speaking along and doing his thing. And, you know, you talked about we're going to have a lot of catchy melodies, and we're going to, you know, and I'll tell you on the Britpop that I have reviewed, you're going to get a lot of runs on the intros, about 45 seconds. We didn't have a long outro, though, but you know, the subject matter is, you know, I don't know how much we want to get into lyrics, but the subject matter was exactly what we talked about.
Well, I don't know a lot of Jarvis' story, but it seems he was quite influenced by Lou Reed.
Right.
Not only in kind of his vocal delivery, but this is something that kind of seedy that you could see Lou or the Velvet Underground be talking about, you know, like in some urban New York area or something like that. Yeah, just that story really grips you in right away. He seems, you know, very just kind of seedy in the way he's
and it
delivering.
grows from what he was okay when he was just kind of listening outside. Then he wanted to see it. Then it goes from there.
Goes in the wardrobe, this and that, and then until he's ultimately going on the bed with another woman. But hey, that backhanded compliment. I only went with her because she looks like you.
So don't hold it against me. And then we just get the
So that catchy melody.
A fire way to start this out, man.
Like that guitar lead and almost like I don't know that synth-ish sound coming in there as well. But now we're going to go to Supergrass's track All Right, number 9 on the list from I Should Coco from my birth year, 1995. Brian said, selecting a Supergrass song is a hard task. You could have easily chosen from any of a half dozen songs from I Should Coco. The bouncy synths create this nice upbeat song just oozing positive vibes. I'm always down for some positive vibes.
No joke, especially nowadays.
It was featured on the Clueless soundtrack and promoted with a nice Monkees-esque style music video. It's a prime example of a song everyone knows, but no one seems to know who it is by.
Because I was going to say, I don't think I know this song, but I guess I do. It was released with Time, an awesome song. It's a double A-side single from their debut album, as you said, I Should Coco. 2 in the UK, 6 in Iceland, 8 in Ireland, 30 in France. It's their most successful single on the charts. The bona fide teen anthem, in parentheses, with its upbeat lyrics and cheerful piano tune, seemed to epitomize British youth culture at the time when Britpop was at its height. Their youthful appearance, their lead singer Gaz, was only 19 when it was released. Added kind of to the lyrics. However, Gaz himself argued it wasn't written as an anthem. It isn't supposed to be a rally cry for our generation. The stuff about we are young, we run green isn't about being 19, but really 13 or 14 and just discovering girls and drinking, because no one wants to be accused. Songwriters take it real personally and say, you tried to write an anthem. No, dude, I didn't. Success helped by the promotional video you mentioned. This, I fact-checked this. I saw this in 3 places. Was directed by Manic, featuring the band joyfully messing around on bicycles and a bed on wheels. Having seen the video, this is the part I fact-checked, Steven Spielberg approached the band and proposed that they work together on a television series in style of the Monkees. They turned him down, Trey, because it's all about the art, not about the fame for these guys,
crazy,
preferring to work on their second album. In it for the money. I mean, Spielberg comes a calling to make a Monkee-esque. I mean, that's crazy.
I think we would have known who made this track if that would have happened. You know, a name on there. But
exactly. I'm gonna see if Brian's telling the truth here. That I'm gonna know this.
All right, we got All Right coming in here. What you think of this one?
I like the. We mentioned during there, very catchy. The piano is just manic throughout in a good way. Just banging through. There is actually the predominant thing you hear instrumentally, which is different for a lot of the Britpop that I've heard.
And you knew this?
I you know what? I knew the little riff. I don't know how much I've heard this song, but it was very familiar to me.
Well, the tune is so catchy that it just kind of sticks out in the mind. And kind of as Brian said, it is a bit of an uplifting, positive type of track coming in here. I like the refrain, see our friends, see the sights, and feel all right. Just kind of put you in that place of, going through memories and, hanging out with buddies and just enjoying life. And I can see where that anthem kind of comes in when in the chorus, are we like you? I can't be sure. Does the people really get me in my generation type of thing? We are strange in our worlds. We're young, get by, can't go mad, ain't got time. So one of those tracks that I think you can turn on when you're having a bad day, and it might turn it around a little bit. So shout out to Supergrass there. And now we're going to one of the biggest bands in the scene, Oasis, with their track "To Be Where There's Life" from "Dig Out Your Soul." A record from 2008, so a little later Oasis here.
Yes, and Brian says he does this on every top 10 list. Number 8's always a wild card, so he says, as always, my wild card. Oasis songs were just about in every Britpop list you can imagine as essential tracks, so I wanted to go post-Britpop with a selection from them. The song is unlike the atypical Oasis track as it contains no guitar, only a bass line and drums with an instrument that sounds like a sitar, but it's actually just a child's toy. And I only know a couple other Oasis songs outside of What's a Story, Morning Glory.
That's right.
Which a full review is up on the channel. See, look at that, Trey. There's another one. But I only know a couple other songs. I don't know anything else. I'm always look forward to hearing something different.
For sure. All right, To Be Where There's Life, Oasis bringing something way out of left field from what I'm used to hearing from them. And obviously, it's a cliche, but that bass line was definitely the highlight for me.
And it's got to be, right? If you're not going to include your trademark guitars, it has to be out of this world.
Yeah, very very bouncy. Just obviously the foundation of the track, drumming of course was really solid as well, and then the sitar-like sound coming from that Child's Toy
I would
band.
have bet money that was a sitar.
Definitely had that kind of mid to late '60s kind of psychedelic, out there Eastern influence that we heard so much from groups of that time.
For sure, and not much lyrically to it to really talk about so much, but I did. I don't know if I liked it or not. I'm just like, the jury's out on me. I don't know.
I'd have to listen to it again.
But it was interesting and it was different, and I do like that. It definitely sticks out. So I thought it was a good choice.
Lyrically, kind of more stream of consciousness going through there, as you'd expect, kind of with an Eastern type of.
Exactly.
I think that was but Liam's vocal delivery, you could put that over a more traditional Oasis sound, and I think it would mesh well and work.
I do. I think that's a good point.
So now we're going to go to the London Suede as number 7 here with the track The Next Life from the Suede record from 1993.
Yeah, Brian said not even one of the 4 singles released from their debut album, but a wonderful bookend track that somberly brings to a close what Rolling Stone called, quote, an undercurrent of doomsday urgency. Bernard Butler's minimal piano finds common ground with Brett's soft yet smart lyrics about moving beyond this life.
Yeah, very stark contrast to the Oasis tune we just had.
No joke.
Going with an emotionally laden ballad here that was written as a tribute to Brett Anderson's late mother.
Yeah, and he said that when he wrote it, he didn't even realize that he wrote it about that event until later on when he was able to reflect on it. So that's how you know something else is kind of working in your life. But I mean, it's pretty sparse lyrically. It's just about the beautiful arrangement, his voice, just sparse instrumentally. It just all works, man. It's just a pretty gorgeous song.
No, man, it just shows sometimes you just need your voice and a gentle piano.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I will say, though, whenever we got those almost choir-like vocals harmonizing at the end, I thought that was really tight.
I did too.
Really almost a bit uplifting, angelic in a sense, which fits, I think, the theme of the track. And then talking, we get a couple shout-outs to just British stuff down in Worthing and Flog the Ice Cream, so the company is on its knees. And just that concept, see you in the next life, just keeping that hope out there, I think is something to appreciate. I know Suede's talked about very highly, and I know usually they're more kind of up and rapidy and whatnot.
I don't know anything by them, I just know the name. But I do know something about this next group.
No, man, but good tune there. Now, number 6, band we featured a lot recently on the channel with the top 10. I know you reviewed their self-titled.
I did, yeah. We got 2 things up there. That counts as 2 plugs right there. We got number 6, Blur, Country House, from The Great Escape in 1995. Brian says, let the punches fly, as I did not choose a song from Park Life, a fantastic album all on its own. I was into my 5th Blur album when I made this list, and The Great Escape is still my favorite. Country House was their first number 1 single, released on the same day as Oasis' Roll With It, and that became the Battle of Britpop.
That's right.
I love the upbeat brass section.
Well, I'm a big fan of those brass sections as well. I know we've heard this tune on a live stream before, but it's a great song. Lead single, band's best-selling single as well, probably due in part to that Oasis battle. So. In an interview for the South Bank show, Damon Albarn, the lead man and Blur, as well as Gorillaz, explained that it was inspired by former Blur manager Dave Balfe, who left Blur's label Food Records and bought a house in the country. The song is about a man who retires to an expensive country house to escape the pressures of the city. It received a great deal of media attention when Blur's label Food Records moved the original release to the same date as Oasis.
So they started it. Their label did.
Yeah.
And the British media had already reported an intense rivalry between the 2 bands, and this clash of releases was seen as a battle for the number 1 spot, dubbed the Battle of Britpop. In the end, Country House actually won the battle, attaining the number 1 spot, while Roll With It came in at number 2. Albert himself was surprised that this song topped the charts. He told NME, I sort of believed all the papers, including NME. He's telling them who told me Oasis were going to win. I mean, at the end of the day, and we talked about this on the Oasis album review that we did, but at the end of the day, I mean, both bands win in a thing like this.
Oh, yeah,
right?
It just drives competition and that fever of...
And they were only separated by, it was 271,000, I think, to 230-something thousand in the way they were measuring it. So it was close, but let's check this one out.
Country House bringing it. What you think of this one, Dad?
I liked it. It has a ton of lyrics. A lot of these songs don't have a ton of lyrics. I mean, they get a lot of stuff in here. a lot of satire in here, some clever little lyricism, and yeah, everything just kind of works very well synergistically. The lyrics, the sound of Damon's voice, the way he chooses to give the vocal delivery. Yeah, I enjoyed it. What about you?
Well, Damon is, I've noticed that on the top 10 list I did for like Charmless Man, there's a track that they have a lot of sarcasm, almost, and kind of just that cheekiness in there.
Exactly.
And you had that a little bit in this as well. Instrumentally, really enjoyed of course, the brass section. That chorus comes in, melody gets stuck in your head.
It definitely gets stuck in your head.
Graham usually kind of takes the lead with that guitar, and that's kind of the driving force instrumentally. Here it was more that brass section, but I'm a big fan of his leads. He's not some like virtuoso or anything, but it's able to just get that tone and sound that works so well with Blur, and the whole concept as well of this guy city dweller going in, and he doesn't he doesn't like his life, he doesn't like the money and the fame, but he goes out to the country, and then he gets on Prozac on the depression and whatnot, and he eats the healthy food, and you know what? That doesn't satisfy him either. The whole blow me out, I am so sad. Got a little instrumental shift and change there as well. And man, just a classic kind of Blur sound, a song that's up there among with probably the most famous of the 90s of this era.
I agree. And now we're already to the top 5, a group that we've touched on some, not done a lot on, a couple song reactions on them. Manic Street Preachers, A Design for Life, from Everything Must Go in 1996. Brian says, on first listen, I had to make sure I wasn't listening to Jellyfish. Both bands sound very similar. This LP was the first Britpop album I listened to twice back to back. The strings are powerful, and the Preachers have a very strong belting chorus that is very catchy.
Yeah, it went to 2 in the UK, was inspired by the debut Joy Division EP, An Ideal for Living. The opening line of the song, Libraries Gave Us Power, was inspired by a legend engraved over the entrance to the former library in Newport, 15 miles from the band's hometown of Blackwood in Wales. Knowledge is power. The next line, then work came and made us free, refers to the German slogan that featured above the gates of Nazi concentration camps, and which had been used previously by the band in their song The Intense Humming of Evil, on a record that I know a lot of people love. Yes. The Holy Bible. It explores themes of class conflict, working class identity, and solidarity, inspired by the band's strong socialist convictions. It was the first to be written and released by the band following the disappearance of their figurehead Richie Edwards the previous year. Interviewed in 2014 by NME for their Song Stories video series, singer and guitarist James Dean Bradfield recalled that the lyric had been a fusion of 2 sets of lyrics, Design for Life and Pure Motive, sent to him from Wales by bassist Nicky Wire while he was living in Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah, the music was written, he said, in about 10 minutes, and Bradfield felt a sense of euphoria with the result. It was credited with having, quote, rescued the band from the despair felt after the disappearance of Edwards, which is a whole nother story that's like crazy.
Yeah.
With Wire describing the song as, quote, a bolt of light from a severely dark place. NME put it 30 in its list of 50 greatest indie anthems ever. And in June 2009, they were invited to officially open the new Cardiff Central Library, unveiling a plaque inscribed with the words to the opening line of the song. So it all comes full circle.
I was about to say, that's pretty tight, man.
At the event, Wire spoke about his experience with the libraries that partly inspired the song. That's why I had all that research in the front, because I thought it was kind of cool how it came full circle.
I feel like this song would work in almost like a post-apocalyptic type of soundtrack, because it sounds kind of beautiful at points with the melody and the strings, and yet it has that darker edge to it.
It does, and I think the driving drums gives it that darker edge. Yeah, just that intensity, man. Which, at first you think a song that, when we described it a little bit about libraries wouldn't be that powerful, but, they just use that kind of as the starting point of it. But yeah, a really good tune. Not a ton lyrically, a lot of repetition, but powerful.
Yeah, and of the lyrics they're talking about, I wish I had a drink to really kind of kill my sorrows, essentially.
Exactly.
And, we don't go into those deep talks. We don't talk about love. We only want to get drunk, man. And then it kind of sounded when he was saying a design for life, almost like a design for her life.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, he had a weird little cadence there that was probably intentional.
But, I know a ton of people like Manic Street Preachers.
They do.
And, that song, I can tell why. And now we're going to A Girl Like You from Edwyn Collins off the Gorgeous George record from 1994.
Yeah, Brian says, first time I heard the song was while watching the movie Empire Records. I haven't seen that one. As movies in the 90s were fashionable and using current bands in the soundtracks to help promote both the movie and the bands. Reality bites anyway. Really love the squealing guitar work and the interesting use of the vibraphone played by Paul Cook of the Sex Pistols. Dare you not to dance around while hearing this track? I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, and it samples a drum track of a Lynn Barry's single 123 from 1965. Became a worldwide hit and, charted in several countries. There had been a suggestion that Iggy Pop might record a version for the U.S. market, but before that could happen, Collins' version was gaining airplay.
Yeah, it went to 32 in the U.S.
All right, A Girl Like You, Edwyn Collins, bringing it here. Man, might be my favorite tune up to this point, actually. Or it's up there, man. I was impressed.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Interesting arrangement. You get your standard 4-line verse, and then you already get a guitar solo right after verse 1. You get 4 more lines of verse 2. We're busting another guitar solo. So just all the way around a unique song. Obviously, the sound, starting off with the vibraphone. The guitar was unique sounding.
Yeah, it was very, very fuzzy guitar work, which I thought, just throughout the whole solo, too, not just for a section.
And you like that. I know you do. You're a fuzzy guitar fan.
Yeah, And then that sample, too, that drum, I think was perfect as well.
Yeah,
mixed
definitely.
with Edwyn's voice, man. It's just kind of he just had a cool factor to him.
I think that's a great word for it, man. It was a cool factor. Like, if you're listening to that, you're like, yeah, man, that's I've got it going on.
So shout out to Brian, man. Thank you for introducing us to that. Now, top 3, y'all. Top 3. We're going to Travis's Why Does It Always Rain on Me? A great band that originated from Scotland. And this is from The Man Who from 1999. I know Brian talks very highly of this record.
Yeah.
Might have suggested this song on a live stream. We're going to have to, I'll know maybe once it gets playing. Brian noted, very surprised at just how good The Man Who was, in particularly on the strength of this track, which has a story. In the 1999 Glastonbury Festival, as the song began to play, a long sunny day suddenly turned into a steady rain, seemingly as heralded in by the song itself. All that aside, it is beautifully performed post-Britpop song in which you will start singing the chorus immediately upon hearing it. And it was their 3rd single, became their international breakthrough, first top 10 hit in the UK.
Yeah, and Fran Healy started writing the song while on holiday in Israel. According to him, he wanted to go somewhere sunny in the middle of winter because in his hometown of Glasgow, Scotland, it rained frequently. His accountant suggested the southern vacation city of Eilat, Israel, which I've never heard of, which is known for its hot weather even during wintertime. However, on the way to the hotel, it began to rain, which lasted until he left a week later. He recorded the music and vocals in France. He sang the song 20 times, and the producer, Mike Hedges, and spliced the best parts of the song together. He suggested a cello intro at a session in Abbey Road while Nigel Godrich gave the song the guitar sound. So a lot of cool story and background to this one.
Travis bringing it with Why Does It Always Rain on Me, and no one getting involved with the tune. Yeah, that's wild at the Glastonbury Festival, how it just started raining, man. Very apropos. Wonderful chorus, both instrumentally and lyrically. So strong, simple, and poignant at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have a lot more to add. This might be my favorite. Last track was yours. This might be my favorite.
It's up there, man.
It tells the story like the title itself, explains what the song is about. Just, things are not going his way. Every time he tries to get it to go his way, everything kind of seems to go against him, man.
Well, and then you start thinking, why is this happening? And then something so trivial. Is it because I lied when I was 17?
Yeah, exactly. People start playing those mind games. I think we've all been in that position in life where it just kind of seems like everything's going wrong. And then oftentimes somebody who maybe isn't a very good person, everything just seems to go their way. It's like, golly, man, I cannot catch a break.
It's like, what's up with that? No, and I like Fran's voice, a bit of a kind of...
I do too.
I don't know if sweeter's the right, but a little higher-ish register,
Yeah, it surprised me right when it came in. So,
and that cello work was fantastic as well. And now we're going to what I know is one of Brian's favorite tunes, a tune we've actually reacted to in a Dubs triple shot before. We have The Cedar Room from Lost Souls in 2000.
Yeah, Brian says Lost Souls is a wonderfully dark after sunset debut from Doves, a band with flashes of The Cure's Pornography, set in a Britpop, post-Britpop landscape. The Cedar Room, I will dare call one of the best songs in the last 21 years. I know lyrically it's simple, but not simply put together. The washboard percussion interjecting just after the first chorus is mind-boggling. A true indie rock eureka moment. First single went to 33 in the UK. NME named it as the 38th best track of the 2000s. I know we have reacted to it, Trey. I don't remember it because we've reacted to who knows how many songs, but I'm sure I will.
Yeah, I didn't remember much about the track.
I didn't either.
But I don't know how, man, because, man, what a impressive tune. It seems like every tune we're saying, man, I think this one might be the best on this list so far. I think the sequencing Brian's done has been great.
I do too. You know, we're a minute 37 in before they even start with the vocals, as you mentioned during the reaction, building the anticipation, like what is coming next.
No, yeah, the way that that guitar just kind of drones a little bit at the start, just really setting the atmosphere and ambiance. And though Brian noted there's not a lot of different lyrics, but I liked what we were saying even at the start. Stars leave in the morning, sleep clouds my view. So you got the stars, you got the clouds, and he plays with the I and you a lot in this track. And Call to You, I didn't notice. And then of course that chorus, I tried to sleep alone, but I couldn't do it.
You could be sitting next to me. I wouldn't know it. If I told you you were wrong, I don't remember saying it, and he emphasizes it again. I don't remember saying it.
So it's like he wants that closeness because he says he couldn't sleep alone. Yeah. And yet, if she's sitting next to him, he's so lost, I think, in his own head or own issues, he wouldn't even know she was there. He's not taking any, I think, responsibility in a sense.
No, exactly. He kind of wants it both ways, and then he doesn't want it either way. It's the complication of life and relationships.
And yeah, man, then that percussion comes in and just long track, but it doesn't feel long.
No, not at all.
So with the track that good, at number 2, we got to have a big dog at number 1, and we do. We're bringing Pulp back, coming in, bookending the list here.
I was going to say, bookends, man.
We got Disco 2000 from Different Class, from, again, my birth year, 1995, shout out. Brian noted a song from my favorite Pulp and Britpop album overall. A nice catchy song about childhood friends who are thinking about their possible futures, while chronicling the boys' infatuation with her as she is more popular. Pulp doesn't shy away from the fondness of disco music, and it can't be a mistake that the song sounds slightly like Laura Branigan's Gloria.
Yeah, not a song you would know, Trey.
I don't.
My mom loved it. I was probably like 10 at the time. I don't know. Third single, 7 in the UK, became Pulp's only top 50 hit in Australia. Tells the story of a narrator falling for a childhood friend called Deborah, who is more popular than he is, and wondering what it would be like to meet again when they are older. Pulp frontman, of course, Jarvis Cocker, based the lyrics on a girl he knew as a child and recalled, the only bit that isn't true is the wood chip wallpaper. He elaborated. There was a girl called Deborah. She was born in the same hospital as me. Not within an hour. I think it was like 3 hours. But you can't fit 3 hours into the song without really having to rush the singing. But basically, the whole thing was the same. I fancied her for ages, and then she started to become a woman, and her breasts began to sprout. So then all the boys fancied her then. I didn't stand a cat in hell's chance. But then I did use to sometimes hang around outside her house and stuff like that. Yeah, nowadays, Trey, you couldn't do what you can't hang around the house.
No, man. And as Brian noted, it did take some inspiration from disco music, as the name would suggest. Martin Aston of Attitude described the song as, quote, 70s a go-go, the stamp of Elton John's Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, Mark Bolan's glittery guitar, ABBA's sweeping gait, and a huge swipe from, again, Gloria from old Laura.
I like that. That's why I put that in. I thought he summed it up quite well.
Yeah, man. Read it better than what I could have said. And drummer Nick Banks said of this influence, we are very much influenced by disco, yeah. And of course, in the late 80s, we got into raves a bit, and music did take on more of a disco-y thump in places. I'm always going down the disco. I love it. And I like, is disco, not popular in the mid-90s.
No, it was not. I can attest to that. I can definitely attest to that. Numero uno.
Disco 2000, Pulp, bringing a track that was made in the 90s, that looked forward to the 2000s, took inspiration from the 70s, and to me sounded like it could have fit easily in the 80s.
And stole some of Laura Branigan's Gloria, which was in the 80s. You just connected every decade. I'm highly impressed with that. Now I feel pressure to even match that. I said it during the reaction. The chorus, just the sound of it was so pleasant on the ear. The melody of it was just Fantastic.
This is one that'll be stuck in my head, man.
Yeah.
In the midst of all these wonderfully catchy melodies, I think this might stand at the top.
I think it does too. Yeah, I definitely do. And it's nice that we had the research up front with the stuff that Brian did, and then I was able to find a lot on these songs, so we kind of know what it's about going in, so we don't have to break down the lyrics as much when it's over. But thought they'd get married, they never did. They were just friends. It tells the age-old story that many young men go through. They're friends with a girl, and they're just friends when they're younger, but they want it to be more. And no one else notices this girl. All of a sudden, she starts to mature, and then all these other guys are noticing her, and you're like, wait a minute, man. That's my friend. I've always liked her. You never looked at her any other way. And then he had to watch all these guys try to hook up with her. That had to be a painful thing as he sat over there in anonymity. So, fantastic song.
Yeah, that's a special tune right there. I can see why it's one of Pulp's more famous songs, and it has that almost sense of nostalgia, maybe just because of what it's talking about.
I guess it does. Yeah,
innocence, and yet just how we all gotta move on, man. But now. Time for our favorite tunes. You want me to go first, or you?
Sure, I don't care. I know what my three actually are.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little basic. All mine are coming from the top half of the list.
So am I.
I got Disco 2000, The Cedar Room, and then A Girl Like You, with honorable mention to Country House and All Right.
I've got honorable mention to All Right. I've got Disco 2000, Why Does It Always Rain on Me, and A Girl Like You, so we're very similar.
I think Brian's always pretty, solid at writing or putting the list together in where
he
it's
should have been a producer where he sequenced everything back in the 70s on vinyl. He would have done well with it.
Every song getting better than the last. I really enjoyed this list. A Yankee Britpop list.
Me too.
Coming to us from Brian, from a couple Texas boys here. So I really enjoyed what you had to bring. Brian, let us know, y'all, what you think of this list.
I bet
down below.
They will. Let us know. Be gentle on Brian. He did a good job on this.
And as always, Dad, appreciate the research.
Fun, man.
And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and I will see you.